Are conservative religious teachings turning young American men into killers? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. This incel movement, by the way, I find this fascinating. We're not talking about people who are experiencing some sort of hormonal disorder or birth defect or just decide, hey, I'm not going to have sex for the next year or ever or whatever. There's actually a movement of young men. They have message boards devoted to this. They had, I don't know if they still exist, but they had Facebook closed groups devoted to this. And they are young men who consider their involuntary celibacy, which is what incel is short for, to be the result of women refusing to basically be available to them sexually. And it is, in my opinion, the entire incel movement, and they have claimed this is what they call themselves, as they're killing women. We have 44 dead women now who have been killed by men who called themselves incels. As that is happening, it's like, where did this come from? And does something like Donald Trump bragging about being a sexual abuser, basically a rapist, does that feed into it? This seems like a relatively recent phenomenon. I don't know. Anyhow, I'll leave the speculation to you. Nicholas in San Cristobal, Mexico, you wanted to weigh in on the topic.
With you, the whole thing last night in Atlanta has me so outraged on so many levels. I just want to underline all of your outrage and add a few things that I really think need to be thought through seriously fast in the country. It isn't just incels. They're just one of the newest iterations of the result of sexual repression by organized religion. I'll come right out and say it. Over so many years in the United States, starting all the way back with Puritanism. Everyone's supposed to remain celibate until they're married. I mean, young people are not. The whole thing's absurd. Go back to poor young Matthew Shepard, hung to die on a barbed wire fence in Wyoming because he was gay, because some other teenagers had a problem with his choice of sexuality. Church-driven. Obsession with sex in the United States. I mean, God forbid a woman with bare breasts on a public beach. If you go to Europe, that's all you're going to see. You're going to be the odd woman out. The whole thing is insane. I went to Europe first at age 18. I stayed in hostels. Showers were co-educational. Young girls and young men showering together. Nothing thought about it. And
they have a much lower rate of sex crimes as a consequence of it, because they don't have, young people obsessing about, gee, I wonder what the other side looks like and all this kind of stuff. And then then they go to pornography and they get this completely distorted view of how people should relate to each other sexually.
View of sex. Totally perverted view of sex on Pornhub and all those other places.
Yeah.
And I very much call religion out on this. It's got to stop. The whole culture has become so obsessed with religion, and you and I know, and everyone else pretty much knows, the United States is the most religious obsessed country of all developed countries in the world. The evangelicals have taken over to too great a degree. They have got to be put back in their whatever. Sex is for the bedroom, not for the church. No sex allowed in church. And I want them out of everybody's lives. They have become a murderous influence. Murderous.
Well, it's certainly causing death, and I would say that the Catholic Church's position on abortion is also causing a lot of pain and hardship across the country.
As well.
So, Nicholas, I got to move along, but thank you. You made your point very eloquently, and it's always nice to hear from you. And thanks for your help in our chat room over on YouTube.